Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to the number one source for information, education, and inspiration. You should get a license. We're talking about the podcast edition. Man, so excited about who we have with us today. This is a young lady who has been making incredible strides in the industry over the past few years, and have wanted to have this conversation for some time, and really excited for her to share her story and talk about what she's doing. There's some amazing things going on. You may have seen her online as India Insures, but she is the president of Legacy Leaders Financial. I want to welcome to the You Should Get a License podcast, Miss India Brown. India, how you doing?
Hey Rod, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Hey, look, I'm excited about this conversation because we go way back. Matter of fact, we go way back to I would say where you were a little bit newer, in the industry when we met originally, and now you've kind of come into this powerful, state of being with your branding and everything that you've been able to do and connect and build with. So I want to just kind of start by finding out a little bit about what you do, like sharing with our audience. Obviously, this audience is one where we're looking at different market segments of the industry. There are new people who are maybe just getting into the business. There are other professionals who are like, maybe I want to try to get into this industry and find out more about it. What do you do? What market do you segment on? Like, what's your specialty in this insurance and financial services industry?
Great question, Rod. So, for me, it's about really, I hate to sound cliche, but a mission, a true mission, if you will, of mine, a passion of mine, if you will. And I really hate to sound cliche, but it's true. I come from what I like to call the urban communities. That's the bougie name for it, right? But I was born and raised in the hood, right? And I lost my mom when I was 16. Never a good time to lose your mom, right? But it was kind of a critical age of me trying to figure out like what I want to do, what I want to be, all of those things, peer pressure, get ready to enter into that adult space, high school, a lot of things, right? And so losing my mom was a really tough time. But even more so when she passed, she had little to none life insurance, right? And so it really set me back. It really had me like confused, angry, like a lot of different emotions, like because we were tight. So it was like I was angry at first. Like I know she loved me. We had plenty of conversations. Like why she leave me hanging like this, right? And so at the time, in prayer, I got over it. Now you're like, you know what? If she knew the time, day, or hour, she would have planned. Facts, right? I think we all would. And so I was like, you know what? When I become an adult, when I become a mom, the last thing I ever want my kids to feel is this feeling right here, like questioning whether or not I even love them a little bit, right? Which I do. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take it a step further. I'm gonna get licensed, and I'm going back in my community, right? And I'm gonna tell the people who look like me, you know what I mean? Like this is easy to do. You know what I mean? Like when sometimes we think of life insurance as a debt or a liability or too expensive. Like for real, if my mom would have spent $50 a month back then, I bet you she would have had a $500,000 policy. Where I could bring her back and say, Mom, would you spend $50 to make sure I'm okay? Without question, she would do it, right? And it would have just changed everything in my life. I got accepted to Spelman. I didn't get to go because of money, like all of those things, right? And so it's like, all right, India, I'm going back in the hood. I'm going back in my community. And I'm going to start there. And I'm going to start talking to women who look like me because generational wealth is doable. It's important. It's needed. You know what I mean? My mom died unexpectedly. You know what I mean? It wasn't like we got to say goodbye and be surrounded by her on the sick bed. Like it was just unexpectedly. You know what I mean? And like that, it hit hard. And so I was like, you know what? That's what I want to do. And then as when I got licensed, I'm like, you know what? There's got to be some women like me who understand the importance of this. So now I want to go back into my community and help 10,000 families. I can't do that by myself. I want to build a team of women that look like me with the same drive and the same passion. We just gonna go into our communities and make sure generational wealth is intact, we're in place. Like our legacies are straight, we're good, like making a difference and educating our community. Because for real, $50 could have changed everything for me. You know what I mean? And if you ask a crowd today, would you spend $50 to make sure your kids are okay? Without question. Without question. So anyway, long story. It's really it really hits home for me, for real, for real. And that's why I'm in this space.
It's an important story because, I don't even know if parents think about life insurance from the perspective of their children and how that might feel if something were to happen. Like, what would be the feeling that the child would carry towards their parents? I mean, that is really powerful, and just being able to, take that, turn it into, a personal mission to ensure that, mothers and children are both protected, going forward in the future. I think I think it's really, really impactful. That was now you're from the DC area, correct? You're from DC,
Yep.
District of Columbia.
Yeah.
You use the hood. You said I grew up in the hood.
I did.
And your mom, she passes when you were 16. Very, like, formative years, for a teenage girl. I want you to take me back. Matter of fact, I want you to go back further than 16, all the way to, let's say, 9 or 10 years old. Little India in Shores, right?
Yeah.
What was little India thinking about or dreaming about being when she grew up? Like, what was the dream when you were a child?
Um, Again, I grew up in the hood, right? And so I was always challenging stuff. Like my mother would tell me something, I would challenge it or ask deeper questions. And so I was like, what? I'll be a lawyer. And my mother always said that you should be a lawyer. You question everything. You're not stopping until you get the answers, right? And growing up in the hood, of course, money was tight. And so I always had a huge imagination. I remember telling my mom, like, nope. When I asked her for something and we couldn't get it, like, no, I'm a princess. Like, I don't know, but make it happen. You know what I mean? Like, make it happen. So I was like, what? This is not for me. I'm a princess. I'm gonna do something where I'm gonna make a lot of money, make an impact. So it's an 8, 9-year-old Indy. I thought I was gonna be a lawyer. I thought I was gonna have a two-seater convertible and live in a penthouse apartment and be this badass attorney. When I became grown, that's what I thought.
You was gonna be Olivia Pope or well, I guess Jessica Pearson now, since Pearson before they came out.
Yeah, I did not dream of the White House with the picket fence, and that was not my dream. It was like, if I have a kid, it'll be one, and she's gonna be on that side, and our shopping bags, gonna be in the back, and we gonna live the life.
Wow. That's a unique perspective, right? Like say, hey, I'm gonna be a lawyer. You've always been a go-getter. I mean, you still are. What do you think? Like, what do you think gave you that? That sense of I'll say, just drive. Like, what instilled that?
The concept of wanting more, knowing that there had to be more to it. Again, I had to go back to the hood. Like, and I didn't know we were poor, but I knew we were poor. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't really want for nothing, but the concept of wanting more, meaning quality or better, you know what I mean? And being able to just do what I want when I want. Like, I don't want to have to lay away my trip. You know what I mean? If I want to go, I want to be able to go. So I've always kind of like, I just want to be able to do what I want when I want. Not just always about money, but just the peace of mind of freedom.
Yeah. I mean, listen, that's freedom can certainly give you some peace of mind, right? Especially in the society we're in right now. So you've been in the industry about 6 years now. I mean, to see how you move. I mean, even now, you say, hey, I want to build a team of women. I mean, you got a team of women and men. Like, you got folks across the country at this point. But what did you do prior to insurance? Like, what were you doing prior to this industry? Because I know you had a background, in some other ways. So prior 6 years ago, 7 years ago, what were you focusing on? And then tell me a little bit about what caused that transition from where you were at to moving into this space.
So I had kids at a very young age, right? I was a mother of two by the time I was 22, right? I had my first one at 20 and 21 and the next one 22. Anyway, so I had kids very young. Um, and so I worked in the government sector as a contractor. I worked in the Patent and Trademark Office for years. And then a girlfriend of mine, I was great about my first house, and a girlfriend of mine introduced me to a real estate agent, and she sold me the life, the dream, right? And so I got licensed as a real estate agent. And right in that time when the market was booming and anybody could get a house, right? So I came in at the right time. And I think in my first month of getting licensed, I sold like 3 properties. I was like, bump this. I quit my job.
Yeah, we're
Everything.
talking real estate licensing now, where we get, hey,
Yes,
you get that
real
money,
estate.
boom, them closers is popping.
Yes.
What year was that? Because was that
Oh my
like
God.
early 2000s?
2003, four, so yeah. Yeah.
Hey, stated income,
Yeah. Yeah.
low.
All of that.
Everybody qualify. You get a house and you get a house.
Yeah. So I sold 3 properties like in my first month, made more
Uh-huh.
than I ever made in a month. Like, oh, so I quit my job, right, Rod? And like, I'm doing this full time. And I was successful for a minute. And then, of course, the market crashed. But I was smart enough to, when the market was booming, I worked with a lot of investors. I sold a lot of property with investors. So they became a part of my network. So they had multiple properties. So when the market started to decline, I started managing properties for investors. So I
Mm.
managed property for a minute, couple of years. That kind of sustained me. And so they started letting their portfolio just go to waste. Right. And so then my father took ill. I had to move in with me. And then I became my father's primary caregiver. And so I definitely needed the flexibility and freedom because he needed me a lot. You know what I mean? Like being gone during the day, anything could happen and I need to get back home. So I was like, all right, I need to create a plan where I could be accessible to my dad more. And so I remember him driving a cab when I was a kid and always, we would ride out hacking. He always tell me about his days as a life insurance agent and how, as a kid, you don't want to do that. And I was like, you know what? Let me look into that because the real estate market wasn't doing great. And I got my license, and here we are. Here we are.
Yeah, yeah, man. Speaking of uh, just our parents and kind of just the things that happen because when you were younger, with your mother, that kind of instills something in you, and then older, having to be a caregiver, which is a lot, for someone to take on with a parent. That just from what I know about you, and even some of the conversations that we have offline, and the work that we've been doing together, you're really helping people in that market as well. So for the senior community or people whose parent who are taking care of their parents and are looking to,
Mhm.
for lack of a better term, ensure their
Mhm.
parents as well. Can you tell me what you're doing in that category, because that's kind of innovative too.
It is. Again, taking care of my dad. We used to ride a lot. Him driving the cab, right? And so we were tight. Anyway, he used to always have these conversations with me about when that time came and this was here. Look in this place, and you'll find this and all of that. And I'm like, Daddy, you don't want to have those conversations, but he was adamant about making sure that stuff was taken care of. So when he passed away, everything was taken care of. And it's like, you know what? I get it. I get it. I saw the stressful side and I saw the planning side. And so and then so I stepped into this pre-need space and I got experiences from both sides, right? And so I get when you're planning the ease of it. It's still a tough thing to deal with, but the ease of it, the the flow of it, you know what I mean? What it goes a whole lot differently. And so I was introduced to the pre-need space, and you know about it, but it helps us prepare not just our parents, but everybody, right? But I like that for our community. I like the fact of teaching them and helping them understand the proper importance of planning We plan our weddings and our birthday parties and all these gender reveals, and they go off great, right? They're beautiful. Like my homegoing service deserves the same
Mm,
respect. And so that's what I'm
mm,
teaching our community, right? Like,
mm.
right, your homegoing service deserves the same thing, right? Like you plan that wedding down to the T. Let's plan your homegoing celebration. So there's no fighting, there's no fussing. It's spelled out. So both of your daughters know I want to wear my turquoise dress. Like mom did not want, pre-planning eliminates all of that stuff and make sure everything goes off without a hitch, just like that beautiful wedding, just like that beautiful party. And I want my kids, I'm hoping I'm 99 and a half, but I want my family to have the ease of knowing, this is done, this is taken care of. So I'm back in the trenches and not just teaching about generational wealth, but the importance of proper planning too.
Absolutely. So essentially, you're a start to finish kind
Yep,
of professional. It's like, hey,
I like
you're saying, hey,
that.
look, I'm gonna help you build it for yourself, for the next generation, and for when you're gone as well.
Yep.
When you're leaving, you're gonna have that too. So we're gonna make sure you got the full spectrum of your needs met. You mentioned the term pre-needs. Now, once again, on this platform, we have a lot of different, market professionals who are listening. Some people coming from the PNC space, they know all the PNC terminology, stuff on the life side, they have no clue. Got people coming from the life and health space, that listen in. They're hearing PNC terminology, they have no clue. And then we have people who are coming from outside of the industry listening, and they're not going to really have a familiarity with any of these things. Pre-need is something that we've never had anybody mention on this platform ever. What is it?
It's just that it's pre-planning. It's making sure that your home going, your funeral arrangements, your how you want life celebration is properly planned. We as life insurance specialists help our clients do that, from helping them with their things like their wills and power of attorneys to proper planning. Like we preach generational wealth and legacy, and that, in my opinion, is what life insurance is for. We know that, right? To help with your retirement, college education, all of those things. People use it as to be their own bank, all of those tools. That's what life insurance is for. Legacy. Pre-need is for proper planning, and they're two separate things. A lot of people like, well, life insurance is for my funeral. No, life insurance is for your legacy. Life insurance is for your retirement. Life insurance is for all those other amazing things that it does. And pre-need is just for that, to make sure that your homegoing celebration is properly planned and properly taken care of. So for those on the outside looking in, like, what is that? That's what we do. We can help all of our clients plan for their legacy, but we also can help them properly plan for their homegoing celebration, their funeral, or whatever term you want to use. But there aren't a lot of people in this space, and you and I both know this is an amazing opportunity, but we also get to provide an amazing service for our clients as far as educating them, making sure legacy is intact, making sure that they properly plan. Like, right. So when that time comes and their family is looking back on all the amazing things that we've helped them do, without a shadow of a doubt, they're calling Rod. Because mom's retired, mom lived off of retirement for years to come. You know what I mean? My college education was paid for with life insurance. I started my business from my mother borrowing from my life insurance policy. And then when she passed, it was a whole party. You know what I mean? It was mom in the making. You could tell she planned this to the T. And so I love what we do. I love that we offer this amazing service. And I'm just looking forward to spreading the word, providing the opportunity for more agents so that we can touch more people.
Yeah, yeah. So here's I want to dig into that just a little bit deeper. Then I'm gonna shift gears for a little bit. So when I think of the funeral planning or the last, expenses, quote unquote, the final expenses, usually I'm thinking about like a final expense policy. So you're referring to it as pre-need. Is that the same as final expense? What would be the difference in those two pieces?
So I explain this all day to definitely when we're recruiting and building a team. Final expense is what that is. It's for you. So a lot of people think, a lot of times when people get final expense, the majority of people who get final expenses are the elderly community, right? They've waited until they've gotten older. And so now they want to have something set aside to cover their final expenses, right? And so they have the mindset that this final expense plan is going to pay for my funeral, and it can. But final expenses, we both know, is a whole life policy. It's designed to do a whole lot of other different things. It's just a smaller whole life policy, right? That builds cash value, but much slower. With pre-need, it's exactly what that is. There is a difference. We are actually paying, like putting it on layaway, your final expenses, right? So we are actually paying on your funeral. So you and I both are in this space, and we know that sometimes when that time comes when someone expires, um, the life insurance could take a minute to pay out for numerous of reasons, right? And we can get into that too. For numerous of reasons. The difference is with pre-need, when a person expires and they're at home and the family picks up the phone, they call the funeral home, right? And so the funeral home says, okay, Ms. Brown, sit back, relax, properly grieve. Your mother has properly planned. We have her plan right here with us. They're going to call the insurance company and they are paid within the hour. Difference. Your funeral is paid for most times before they even pick up the deceased. So it is really and truly a final plan. It is a pre-need plan. It is put in place to pay for everything that you have set aside as far as your pre-need services are concerned. So the difference is that it's the actual pre-need. It is definitely going to pay for that person's funeral outside of like final expense, which is a whole life policy. Again, a lot of people put that in place, but that is exactly what it is, a whole life policy. And it's still for legacy. It still can be used for legacy.
So essentially with final expense, it is a life insurance policy that you hope will cover the cost of what it is that you're looking to do, because that's the objective. That's what you're taking it out for. You're taking that for the reason of the final expenses, those funeral costs that you might have. Your other life insurance is really covering, your family legacy, considering the time frames and all that good jazz. What pre-need does, and I'm just clarifying this based on for what you said. So it sounds like what pre-need does is the pre-need will allow you to pay incrementally on the actual service, the specific kind of service that you're having. Hey, I want to be cremated with a memorial. I want a casket with blah, 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 blah. How much does all of that cost? I'm going to take out coverage based on that amount. And then you essentially just pay that off over a period of time.
Correct.
Of time. And if you were to expire prior, if you were to expire prior to the time in which you finished paying that full amount, there's a life insurance component that would still pay the benefit.
Correct.
So you get the benefit, but you also have something that you're paying on. So at a point in time, you actually going to just stop paying completely.
Correct. Right.
But in a whole life policy, you just keep paying.
You're gonna pay forever. So I know we know an agent in this industry that likes to term it as final expense is like a life sentence. You pay for it for the rest of your life. With pre-need, you can parole in 3 years, 5 years,
parole.
or 2 years. Right.
Somebody's gonna resonate with that analogy. Somebody's gonna resonate with it. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Look. If you have a final expense policy, listen, you've done a good thing. It's okay. Okay. But for those that, looking for coverage out there, no, that is it. Listen, I recognize that it is something that's innovative and definitely changing the landscape, even from an accessibility standpoint, being that everybody qualifies, is completely guaranteed issue and all that jazz. So I think with what you're doing in that space, once again, being able to cater to, parents, particularly, single mothers, and offer that benefit, but then saying, hey, look, we're going to take you all the way to the end of your journey is very commendable. One of the other things I want to pull out in that, one point is it's okay to desire nice things. You mentioned that earlier. You said, hey, look, I have been, I wanted nice things. I wanted to do well, even being young, and I think that's important to note, because when people think about this industry, they know that there's an opportunity there, but they really don't understand what it looks like. And you also mentioned opportunities. I want to speak to that too, but what do you think people are intimidated by when it comes to joining this industry, to joining this business?
The life insurance industry as a whole,
Yeah.
um, not being knowledgeable, right? I get a lot of pushback sometimes. They say I'm not a salesperson, I can't sell, but this is not a sale. This is a value. This is a necessity. This is not a used car salesman when you're trying to push something down somebody's throat. Like, this is something that is never going away. I don't care how much AI takes over. Like, this is never going away, right? None of us are ever going to live forever. And so I think it's just a lack of knowledge, a little bit of fear sometimes, and just a mindset. A mindset shift is needed, in my opinion, a lot of times. I think that this is one of the industries that, like I said, that is never going away, but one of the most lucrative industries there is. And I encourage anybody to take a look at it, just to not, for the knowledge of it, just to take a look at it and see the power that's in it.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, for the iPhone users out there, and I'm Android all day, by the way.
Okay.
But if you ask Siri, what's the highest paid industry? Siri's going to tell you is the financial services industry. So it definitely is the industry with a ton of opportunity, and I think that's one of the cool things that you're doing too, India. You're not only saying, hey, if you're a mom, or if you're a woman who is looking to build a business and do something, you're not just coming in and saying, hey, look, let me help you with coverage and a product. You're also saying, hey, look, if you want an opportunity, I can help you with that as well. What some people only want to focus on just helping people with products, and that's fine, providing solutions. What is it that makes you want to provide these opportunities for others, particularly for other women and single mothers who are looking for entrepreneurship?
For me, it's personal. Again, you know what I'm saying? It's personal. We take on so many roles as women, as mothers. You know what I mean? We're the caregivers. We provide. We do a lot of things, and we're always expected to do them simultaneously. Multitask and be great at all things, and still be able to maintain everything else and provide everyone else's needs. This industry, for me, has provided me the flexibility and freedom, but also the financial means to be able to do all of those things and sleep. You know what I mean? Without the stress of the financial strain. You follow what I'm saying? And so it feels really good, if you will, to put a friend on. You know what I mean? To put them in a place and an opportunity where they can, where they can just thrive. I'm not talking about an extra $500. I'm talking about, okay, if you want a certain lifestyle, let's plan out your goals and we can easily obtain them. Like, no fluff. You know that, right? Like, no fluff. Like, tell me your goals and we're going to map out a plan and we're going to get there, right? And so it feels really good to be able to put my good girlfriends on, you know what I mean? Or my friends, or someone who wants the opportunity. And it's not about the money, because I love money, but agents that I've introduced to this space, I get calls to say, girl, I was able to pay my mortgage. Little things like that mean the world to me. You know what I mean? Because there was a time when someone needed my help and I couldn't. You know what I mean? And it really does something to your mental. But to be able to help in this way, and in a major way, is like, it's bomb.com. I mean, I know that's good talk, but it feels really amazing to be able to help put somebody in a position to thrive.
Yeah.
To thrive. Yeah. There is no ceiling in this industry. Like, you can make what you want to make in this industry.
Sometimes I think it's kind of taboo, right? Or at least it's felt like it's been taboo to talk about the type of success that you can have in this industry, at least amongst certain groups of people. Others, I think, really embrace what you can do. But I'm going to create a new segment with you with this episode. Considering we've been on hiatus for a minute, we're coming back in the mix. This is going to be the balling out moments. I want you to tell me what's something that having your license, getting into this industry has allowed you to do, purchase, buy, go that wasn't available prior to you getting into this industry?
Really, Rob? Okay. Um, shoot. A lot, to be honest with you, a lot. It's afforded me to live in a really nice
Now
neighborhood.
I've been to your house. I've
Safe.
been to your house, so I know you.
Mhm. Okay. It's safe. You know what I mean? Like I could fall asleep and forget to lock my door. I don't, but I could. Um, to be able to, I remember years back, I was in the beginning stage of the life insurance industry, and Mia wanted this motorized bike, right? It's a couple of $100s. And I promised her we would get it. And so when I picked her up from school, I was like dreading the conversation because I had not met my quota and I didn't make enough money. And so when she got in the car, she was gung ho. And she was like, all right, we're going to get my bike. And, da, da, da. And I had to break it down. I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I can't get it. And she was like, wow. I was like, I didn't make the bonus. I didn't make enough money. She was like, well, what do you have to do to make the bonus? I love her for that, right? I was like, I gotta go sell some more policies. She was like, all right, let's go pass out some more flyers. And she was like 7, right? So I'm like, bet now what and not that she wants a lot of things, but to just be able to provide without the I gotta get it 30 days from now or wait to 2 weeks from now. You know what I mean? Like that feels amazing to me. It's the small things, you know what I mean? So this industry has provided that for me. Like the peace of mind is priceless. You know what I mean? I'm a simple girl. I like $10 sandals, but if I want a nice pair, I can go get them.
Yeah,
So I feel great in knowing that I'm able to live how I always thought I should live from a little girl. And it gives me joy. It gives me peace.
absolutely, absolutely. You know, and I appreciate that. Just being able to do those things for your children. Now, you could have said, hey, I went to Africa for 2 weeks. All expense 5-star. Because I did do that based on what
Yeah.
insurance did. But
Yeah.
no, I really appreciate saying, hey, look, it is those little things that matter because, like you said, it's about being able to create those moments and knowing that you have the resources, and not only that you have the resources, but you have an opportunity to create those moments. Because if you were solely relying on just a regular 9 to 5, just regular gig, what you had would have been what you had. You would have been
Right.
capped right there. But this industry and this business allows you and affords you the opportunity to really do whatever you want based on your will and desire to make it happen. So definitely commend you on that. When you think about getting into this industry and who you are, like and how you've evolved as a person, um do you feel like having a license has changed you in any way? Do you feel like it's helped you develop in your development?
For
And
sure.
if so, please share how.
Oh, it's helped me in my personal life, of course. It's helped me in my business life. It's helped build my confidence. You know what I mean? Like some people say, what can you talk about for 20 minutes without a script or 30 minutes, life insurance all day long, the importance of it, why we need it, why it's needed in my community, all of the things, right? Um, Definitely enhanced my life in that way. I've regurgitated it so much that you can ask my daughter and she knows the spiel. You know what I mean? So I know it's making an impact. So it has changed. It's giving me a boost of confidence. I know for a fact I'm making a difference. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Right? Like we don't think about like when we go into the grocery store, who built that store, right? Your dad could have helped build that store. Like we don't think about those things. But I'm going to be remembered, not just in my family, but other people's families from how I help put them on, if you will. You know what I mean? Or help protect them or help keep the legacy going. That right there makes me feel powerful.
Yeah.
Powerful. Yeah.
I mean, it is powerful. It's one of the things that I just thought about, even listening to how the business and how the industry has grown you. Um, it in the stories that you've told on this on this in this conversation, it's also it's influenced your parenting style too, you know, because your daughter Nia was 7 saying, hey, let's go pass out some flyers. Now she would have gotten that from somewhere, right? She's getting that from seeing you, which is so important because our children, you know, it's not about what we say, it's about what we are showing them. Because she came up and picked that out naturally. And she definitely carries a lot of that same spirit that you have even now. And I know your other children, you know, do as well. So as you know, I think that is just so important to point out because, you know, you're not only affecting your day-to-day and your own thought processes and how you move and how you interact with the world, you're also influencing how your children are going to interact with the world because they're seeing you do it in real time. That's powerful, man. A 7-year-old to say, hey, let's go pass out some more flyers.
Yeah, but then so we went out to eat that same day, right? Because I was just so proud of her, right? We went past out the flyers, and so I had to reward her, so I took her out to eat. We're in the restaurant, me and her, and we're sitting down eating, and a guy comes. I could tell he wanted to say something, right? Anyway, so he finally gets up the nerve to come say something, and she sits there with her 7-year-old self, and she looks up at him, and she says, he asked me something. He said, "Can I ask you a question?" She said, "You want some life insurance?" She was straight blocked it off the get-go. What do you want to talk about? Life insurance? He was like, let me guess. You sell life insurance. I ended up giving him my card and everything. Like, yeah.
Another conversation are we having, right? Yo, that's hilarious. That is hilarious, you know. So now, India, as you're continuing to build, you know, you're doing your work, you're doing your workshops and things of that nature. You're helping other women, you know, with opportunities. You're helping them to get covered and take care of their children and establish their legacies. You're helping to, you know, plan, you know, their final event, you know, so to speak. How do you? Well, couple questions on that. The first question that I'll ask you is, at this point, like in where you're building now, you got a lot going on. Like what is keeping you motivated? What's keeping you moving forward on this journey right
Cliche again, but my kid, my daughter, you know what I mean? Like, she's watching when she ain't watching, you know what I mean? Or when I don't know she's watching. And then again, me, I want a certain life. I deserve a certain life. So that's keeping me going. And for real, cliche again, but we are the superheroes within our community. You know what I mean? Like, let's go back to the hood talk, right? Like back in the day, I grew up in the hood, right? And it was no shortage of hustlers, right? And so everybody was getting into the game. The hustle in life insurance is like, where else can you pay $100 and get 500,000,
now?
right?
Hey,
That's the real flip. You
you
follow
just
what I'm
buying
saying?
money.
Huh?
You just buying money.
Legitimately,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Legitimately, right? And so I love the power of that. You know what I mean? I love educate my community on the power of that.
Yeah. 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 Um, how do you think your life would be different if you had never got your license?
A struggle.
Mm.
Again, why do I say it a struggle? Again, because it goes back to the whole princess thing and me always wanting more and me trying to find a way to get it. You know what I mean? So I've been doing something. I just don't know what. You know what I mean? But I see it being tight, a struggle. I don't
Right.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's it definitely is. Like I said, it's one of those places where you really can, you know, carve your own path, you know. I see that. I mean, obviously, you know, what you're doing now, you know, you've talked about throughout the conversation. At this point in your career, what's what's the what's the what's the end goal? What's the ultimate accomplishment, dream? What's the final destination for Indian insureds and legacy leaders?
The final destination is to build a team, a downline, a legacy of 3,000+ agents. And they don't all have to look like me, but that's my vision. You know what I mean? Because this is an ongoing thing. It doesn't stop here. You know what I mean? You got to rinse and repeat. You got to rinse and repeat. So I'm hoping to recreate myself, if you will, clone myself and just make 10,000 of these so that we can just keep this thing going. I like to sit with a client and I say, look, like this is bigger than us. When you finally get your $1 million policy, here's what I want you to do. I want you to put in your will that your daughter will get a certain amount, but she's to take 25,000 of that and purchase a $2 million life insurance policy so that this can rinse and repeat. And then she has to do the same, and she has to do the same. And so in this space, I want to rinse and repeat. I want to keep it going. I want to keep it going because it's real. You know what I mean? This is the legacy. This is the generation.
Absolutely.
For real.
Man, you know what I see? I'm gonna tell you what I see, because even though I can't come to your events, even though I don't get the invite, it's now. Let me say this. India does these events, and it's all women, and she'll have like these silk pillow. I saw a picture. I just saw it. Silk pillows on the ground and table with some flowers and some candles and scents. I heard it was smelling good. I wasn't invited. I saw some pictures, right? But have it all nice. So I mean, if that's what you like, although I like some silk pillows from time.
It was nice.
But I see I don't know, when I see the things that you're doing, I just see like women having these silk pillow parties, talking about and with the fondue and what y'all had, the hibachi at the joint, all of the, what you do, just I see like women just having those around the country, having these conversations that we don't typically see in our communities, where it's like, hey, let me talk about as you call it, as you've called it, the baby daddy plan. Let's talk about the baby daddy plan, and let's talk about where we are in our lives and with our families and with our children and what we want it to look like. Because it's easy, I think, sometimes to have a conversation about even what we see in the news, or just what we might see. Maybe we saw something on social media or something that's kind of a general subject that might be fun to talk about, but doesn't actually move us forward. I just really see you doing, I know you're doing it now, I just see it continuing to grow and flourish, where these really important conversations in these intimate environments that are free and open and honest, and from what I understand, fun as well. Like I said, I'm not invited, but can you tell I'm feeling away? Can you tell I'm feeling away?
You'll be fine.
No, it's all good. No, it's all good. It's all good. Listen, I don't need to be there. I don't need to be there. But what I'm saying is, I just see that continuing to just expand for you. You know what I mean? And I'm just so excited about, what you've been building, where you're headed, like where you're going, everything that you're doing. And I just want to just say thank you. I appreciate you, for being on the platform and sharing your story as well. I just want to take a minute just to say that, just say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So as we start to round out here, something you would tell someone who is new, who is joining the industry, maybe someone who's even just thinking about joining the industry, or maybe someone who's been here for a while and they've been in it for a while, maybe they got their license a while ago, but it's just not really kicking off for them. What kind of advice would you give to someone who is still kind of finding their way in this business, either new in it or maybe even thinking about getting into it?
A lot of times when people come to the industry, they like life insurance, right? Like that anybody who has breath need life insurance. So they try to be something to everybody. You know what I mean? Because everybody's gonna die. Facts. But for me, what worked for me was when it didn't feel like work anymore. I always say to an agent who asks me questions like, what do you do? Don't make it feel like work. Like, let it be about your passion. niche down. You know what I mean? Like it's me with the women and my breast front thing. When I have those gatherings, it's like barbershop talk, if you will, but for women. You know what I mean? I love being in a space where we can laugh and get to know each other and have a good time and educate and empower and ensure and all of those things. So it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like a used car salesman. So my advice to anybody is follow your heart, really mean it. Don't just chase the dollar. When it doesn't feel like work, the money comes. Niche down. Find something that you are passionate about. If it's pet insurance, if it's the elderly, if it's men, whatever it is. My suggestion is when you're doing what you love, it flows. You know what I mean? You thrive as opposed to like, I gotta go do this, I gotta go make 15 calls, whatever that is, you know what I mean? When it doesn't feel like work, when you can niche down, um, it becomes even more powerful, more impactful, and the money comes. Money comes.
Absolutely. A mentor of mine told me early in the game, and you know him as well, but he said, if you want to make a lot of money, stop thinking about the money. Just think about the mission, think about the purpose, think about helping people, think about doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And if you do that, you'll make all the money you need and more in this business. Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. How do people get in contact with you? So let's say I'm listening to this interview and I say, hey, I want to come to a silk pillow party. If you qualify, you got qualify to come to India's party. But if you qualify, I want to come to a party. I want to find out more. I want to get in communication shoot. I want an opportunity. I want to work with her. I see her in the turquoise. I want to work with her. And if you go to page, you see all like I want to work with her. How do people connect with you and connect with India Insurers and Legacy Leaders?
All things India Insurance. So indiainsurers.com. I'm India Insurers on all social media platforms. That's it. I'm indiainsurers.com or India Insurers on any social media platform is how you find me. You want my personal number, you want that, I can give that to you too. But all things India Insurance, I'm real easy to find. It's gonna be a chocolate lady in a turquoise dress. You'll spot me.
Easy to identify. You look for the turquoise, wherever that is.
Yeah.
But likely that's India's page. Even if you can't see the name, if you go see the colors, you're gonna know what time it is already.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, look, once again, like I said, just thank you for taking the time to come and share and really just kind of give your story to the people, because I think it's an important one. It's a powerful one. You got some great things going on, and I'm excited, proud, honored, privileged to get to know you, get to work with you in a few different capacities. And for those who are listening, reach out. India Insures everywhere, whether it be social media, if you're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Well, LinkedIn is going to be India Brown, right? It's just going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But but on there it's still gonna say India Insurers underneath. So India Insures, all over social media. Reach out, get connected. She is an open book, happy to answer any questions. Very helpful. Works with some great people. She's a great leader in her own right, and maybe you heard something that kind of sparked you. Maybe you're a single mother who's thinking that maybe, man, you know what, I need to do something for my kids, or maybe, maybe I should look at this as an opportunity for myself, and maybe that made you think that you should get a license. Until the next time, take care. Peace.
Thanks, Rod.